Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be making a multi-strand bracelet, and I can show you one that I have made previously to kind of give you an idea of what we are going for. Here you go. I have 5 strands on this one with a toggle clasp on the back, and for me, when I make multi-strand bracelets like this, I really like the different seed beads that kind of add volume to a bracelet without adding a lot of bulk. So this one turned out really nice. I really like it. And I also have this one, also toggle clasp, but it has some wooden beads as kind of that focal line of beads. With the one glass bead in the center, and then of course the seed beads. Usually when I design a multi-strand bracelet, I'll have that one focal line of beads that is kind of the standout line of beads, and then smaller beads to go with it. Like I said, it kind of adds volume to it without adding a lot of bulk. So purple, as you can see, is kind of my color scheme for today. I've already cut my wire. This is gonna be 5 strands, like I said. And I am using bead along 49 strand wire for this. For my focal line of beads, they are stone beads, and then I have a few metal beads in there. They're kind of the square with the flat corners. And then the main focal beads are, to me, these almost look like they're Japanese style beads. I like the black lacing that they have on the inside. And I will be using these bead caps, flower kind of style on them. 3 of the strands of seed bead strands will be the different shades of white. I like this kind of purple-ish rainbow color, and then just solid black to kind of go with the lacing in those main beads. All right. And then these are glass rondelle style beads, and I have the spacer beads that are just this little flower style. The tools I will be using, I have chain nose pliers, and you'll see, of course I have two pairs of them, and I will be using both of them at the same time for several of the different things that I have to do. I also have cutters. These are kind of industrial size cutters that I got at Home Depot because they're a little bit sturdier. But I also have the fine nose cutters for the ones that I have to get a little bit close for. I am going to start out. I have my jump ring here, and I need this jump ring to be closed. And the bag of jump rings that I bought, they all come open, and sometimes it's good to have them started out that way if you're trying to lace it through something, but for me, I need to have it closed because I'm going to use this to make the end, the opening or the starting end of my bracelet. I'm going to use my number 2 crimp tube, and I'm going to put it on the end. I take my jump ring, and in this case it's more of a placeholder. I'm going to get that a little bit close to the end. I'm going to make sure that the wire is not crossed over, and then I'm going to have my crimping wires, okay? My crimping pliers, rather, and I'm going to put it in that second. The crimping pliers have 2 little divots on the inside. I'm going to put it in that second one, And when you crimp it, it gives it that taco shape. Then you turn it to the side and kind of flatten it a little bit, just like that. And then I like to go with the flat edge of those crimping wires. I keep calling them crimping wires. The crimping pliers. And then just flatten it. Flatten it. That way it gets nice and tight. And I flip it, and I hold on to that jump ring, and I'm going to take one of my crimp covers, all right, and then place it over. Place it right over where I crimped that, and then I take my pliers, my chain nose pliers, and then I close it. All right. So then I have at the beginning of my bracelet. I have it all set. Usually when I make these, I get the seed bead lines out of the way first because those are the fastest for me, and I can pick up usually several at a time. And of course I will skip a little on the video so you're not having to watch me pick up every single bead, but usually I just kind of hold it with an inch or so at the end there, just like this, and then with these little seed beads I can pick up several very quickly and just gonna make it go to the end. So these strands, like I said, for me, the seed bead strands are pretty awesome because they do add quite a bit to a bracelet, and they are not too difficult to make. So I'll skip forward to the end. Okay, so here you see I have my entire wire strung here. Now, I usually like to have, when I make the multi-strand, I usually like to keep it at 7 inches because I like my bracelets to be about 8 inches total. And when you add in the toggle clasp at the end, it adds a significant amount of length at the end to a bracelet when it's on either side. So I usually keep this about 7 inches. So let me see where I'm at. So if I'm at 6, I need to go to 13. Oh, I'm a little bit too long there. All right, so put these over here, extra. So there we go. From 6 to 13, right at 7 inches. So now, when I do the other end, I do it the same way. It's just a matter of getting it tightened. So first things first. All right. I put on the crimp tube. Oh, I grabbed a different one. It's okay, I'll use them all. Put on the jump ring. And then I'm gonna put it back through. I don't know. I'm gonna put it back through. I put it through the crimp tube, through 4 or 5 of them, and then I just pull on it until it gets pretty tight. You want to leave a little space at the end because that's what's going to go around the toggle, or I should say the jump ring that goes to the toggle. Okay, so you've got it pretty tight there, but a little bit of space. I'm gonna get my crimping pliers, go in that second divot, smash it. Got the little taco divot, and then put it in the first one and smash it. Then I go to the flat part at the end and give it a pretty good smash. Now you can see it's really flat. I get the crimp, or the bead cover, crimp cover, and I am trying to get where I can hold the jump ring, have the bead cover above it, and I have some space. And I close the bead cover. Just like that. So then I have a bead cover on both ends. And then I take my little edge, my little tail there, and this is where I definitely need the closer snippers. So I get really close there, snip off the tail, and then I take that little edge and I just kind of tuck it under a bead. So there's my first strand of my multi-strand wire. So now take off my jump rings. And then I set this one to the side while I make the others. All right. And it is kind of a rinse and repeat with the other strands, but I will go through the process again of closing the end up, because that is definitely the trickiest part. Let's see what we have. There we go. Crimp tube, jump ring, and then I put it through. Get it a little bit close. It's a little too close. I don't have a little space. Make sure that the wires are not crossed. There we go. Grab my crimping pliers. Got myself a good taco. Turn it. All right, there you go. And then I take the flat part at the end. Give it a little tap, nice and tight. All right, turn it back over. Hold the jump ring. Then you have the crimp cover. Place it right in the spot. I hold it with my fingers. And then with my chain nose pliers, I close that bead cover. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to skip ahead for you guys while I strand the other seed bead. All right, I now have my strand of the kind of color spectrum purplish beads, and I need 7 inches. So I think that about does it. All right. So now I'm going to grab the crimp tube and the jump ring. Fold it back over. Ah, well, it's not liking me right now. There we go. Put it through 3 or 4 or 5. And I hold the jump ring. And I pull it nice and snug. Now you don't want it too snug. You do want the bracelet to be able to move. You know, you don't want it to be uncomfortable. So I pull it, give it a little bit of space. All right. Grab my crimping pliers. Smash it. Turn it. All right, got that taco. Take the flat part of it there at the end. Make it nice and snug. Hold the jump ring. See that top? It's nice and snug right there. Get the crimp cover. Put it on the end. Grab the pliers. Close the crimp cover. Kind of smash it a little tight. There we go. Alrighty. And same as before, I'm going to get my closer little snip cutters. Cut off the tail and then tuck that little end in. So now I've got this strand all done. And place it next to the first one and they should be the exact same length. There we go. All right, and I'll catch you back up when I have the black one ready to go. All right, so now I have my 3 lines of seed beads completely done on both ends. Everything same size down here. And I've got my next line started. I've got the end of it not completely done with the crimp cover and everything. So my last 2 lines, of course, we've got the focal line here. These are also, you know, bigger beads, bigger than the seed beads for sure. And I wanted to come in here at this point and explain one thing. At the end of this line, I have one tiny bead, and it's the same style of bead in the big line here that I have at the end, because where all of these strands are going to come together at the toggle, it's a really, really tight fit. So if you end a strand with a larger bead, when it comes together, the line is not going to be able to fit through the circle here on the end. So you always want to have, at least one, if not a couple, small beads at the end. Let me feed that little tail through. That way, the end of it will certainly fit through the toggle piece at the end. So now, this is just going to be the exact same beading as before, except I'm going to have a spacer bead in between each one. So I will jump right through once I get these on. You can see how I kind of tuck the tail there at the end. And I will come back in when I get this strand completely done. Alrighty. All right, then this strand is done as well. So all the strands are down there that are complete, all the same size and ready to go. All right. Now the last one. Now, one thing I will do with the last one that I didn't do with the other ones beforehand is I'm gonna put this one right on the row that has the measuring on it, or the measuring right next to it. Mainly because for this type, when you have focal beads that you need to be in the center, you can't just take a bead or two off the end because then it throws everything off. So like with these, you know, if your strand is a little bit too long, you could just take, you know, 3 or 4 seed beads off the end and you're good to go. Or even this one, you know, you take off the one small bead at the end and then you just take off a few. This, since you want these 3 in the center, they have to be in the center. So you can't just take 2 or 3 beads off here because then it's going to be off center. So before I start, I want to get everything lined up. Make sure that it's the correct length. Now with these 3 focal beads, they are going to have those bead caps at the end, which is going to make it a little bit, marginally a little bit longer. But to me, that looks pretty good as far as being 7 inches. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start this one off, and I'll catch up with you at the end. Okay, so I have now finished every strand for my 5-strand multi-strand bracelet. Welcome back. Okay, so I was trying to switch them around a little bit and kind of see how I want them laid out. I like to have it where the focal line is kind of in the center. When you wear it, they kind of fall over each other a little bit. So I like to have the focal line put in the center. That way when it falls, it's not just kind of hanging off the end. So I think that's gonna be good. All right, I've got my 9mm jump ring here. The end of the toggle. Line it back up. There you go. You have it on this side. All set up. So now, try to lay it out where it's in order. That way I know. All right. So let's get the other side. I have it laid out so that I know the order I want to put it on this side. And I know that when this bracelet is worn, it's going to, the lines are going to kind of fall over each other, which I think is a very aesthetically pleasing part of the design. But at least this way, they are set up in this order so that both sides are the same. They're symmetrical. And when they fall, it'll be more decorative instead of being all separate. So then I put the other end on, and I close the jump ring. Whoa, snap. All right. Happens sometimes, they just kind of slip out of the pliers. And there you go. There is my multi-strand bracelet. I think it came out awesome. Very beautiful. And that's kind of how they fall. They kind of fall over each other when they're on as well, but at least when that is strand in the center, it's more decorative instead of the main line just kind of falling off to the side. So I can go ahead and put this on, and it is awesome. It is beautiful, fits me just right. Okay. All right, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more of the jewelry that I make, more tutorials like this, then please like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, or something, you can give me suggestions of things you would like to see me make. All right, thank you very much.